just when fans thought the CHRISSY and Jim saga couldn't get any messier. It did. After weeks of cryptic posts, dramatic fallout, and whispers of a secret pact, a jaw-dropping twist has flipped everything upside down. Because now, sources are claiming CHRISSY was never the mastermind, was the target. That's right, rumors are swirling that someone close to the couple, someone trusted, someone inside the circle, may have orchestrated the entire pact behind the scenes and CHRISSY. She may have been manipulated from the very beginning. The wild part: receipts are already leaking. Deleted DMs, unseen footage, and one disturbing audio file that fans say changes everything. Social media is on fire. Fans are furious, confused, and desperate to know one thing: who set up CHRISSY? Was this revenge, a power move, or something darker? And the biggest shock? The alleged puppet master might be someone no one suspected. Buckle up, because this isn't just a Love and Hip Hop rerun, it's a real-life thriller. And what's coming next could destroy reputations, tear apart families, and expose secrets that were never meant to see the light of day. It all began with a voicemail no one was supposed to hear. The kind of thing that was meant to stay buried, deleted, forgotten. But in the world of CHRISSY and Jim, secrets don't stay hidden for long. Fans were still reeling from the fallout of CHRISSY's alleged pact with Yandy Smith when the real shock hit the internet. A fan-run blog dropped a leaked audio file so explosive it sent social media into complete chaos. In the clip, a voice believed to be CHRISSY's could be heard whispering, "She told me how to move. She told me how to win. It would cost me everything." Those words hit like a thunderclap. Who was she? Fans immediately assumed it was Yandy. Of course, she had been painted as CHRISSY's partner in this mysterious behind-the-scenes alliance. But the tone of CHRISSY's voice was different. Not strong, not vengeful. It was scared, almost betrayed. And that's when the theories started flying. What if CHRISSY wasn't leading the pact? What if she was being played? Enter Tasha. Not a household name, not a regular on the reality circuit, but someone who had been around since the early days. She was a stylist, a behind-the-scenes confidant. And according to a now-deleted thread on Reddit, the original source of tension between CHRISSY and Yandy years ago. A resurfaced interview clip from 2013 showed Tasha saying, "I always said there were too many voices in CHRISSY's ear, too many people trying to shape her moves." And now, people were asking, was Tasha back? Was she the real architect behind the so-called pact? The fan theories started to gain traction when an old photo appeared online. One that showed CHRISSY, Tasha, and Yandy sitting at a small table in a rooftop lounge. The image was grainy, clearly taken without their knowledge, but the expressions told a story. CHRISSY looked stressed. Yandy looked focused. Tasha looked like she was watching it all unfold with a smug kind of calm, like she knew what was coming soon. New messages surfaced, alleged texts between Tasha and a third party, referencing the plan and getting CHRISSY to commit. One text even read, "Once she's in, it's done. She won't back out." Fans went wild. Influencers started filming breakdown videos, analyzing every clip, every glance, every interaction over the past 3 years. They pulled out old reunion footage, paused interviews, and dissected CHRISSY's body language in ways that felt almost surgical. Then came the bombshell. A former producer from Love and Hip Hop posted a cryptic tweet. They played chess while everyone else watched checkers. Some of us saw it coming. CHRISSY never stood a chance. It was the tweet heard around the internet, and it pushed the narrative into overdrive. Tasha, who had stayed mostly quiet over the years, was now being painted as the shadowy mastermind. She hadn't posted in months, but fans started digging. One TikTok user claimed to have found Tasha's private Instagram and pointed out a string of posts made weeks before the original Pact drama exploded. One post, in particular, featured a chessboard and the caption, "Queen's move, game over." It was dated just 3 days before CHRISSY and Jim's infamous fallout went public. Meanwhile, CHRISSY's behavior was changing. She went from confidently silent to eerily withdrawn. No stories, no public appearances. And then, a close friend posted and quickly deleted a message on her behalf. Not everyone who smiles at you wants you to win. Sometimes the real enemy is the one who claps the loudest. Fans interpreted it as a direct shot at Tasha. And if that wasn't clear enough, CHRISSY later reposted a photo of a snake shedding its skin with the caption, "You looked out for me." Or so I thought. Jim, on the other hand, was spiraling in his own way. He had been spotted out in Harlem, looking more distant than ever. Someone caught a brief video of him walking down Lenox Avenue, headphones in, completely ignoring a group of fans calling his name. One person shouted, "Tell CHRISSY the streets miss her." And Jim didn't flinch. He just kept walking. But even he couldn't avoid the growing pressure. After all, this wasn't just about love anymore. It was about betrayal, manipulation, a potential scheme that may have used his relationship as the emotional battleground for a much larger play. Things hit a boiling point when a second voice memo leaked. This one wasn't from CHRISSY, it was Tasha. It was damning. In the clip, Tasha can be heard saying she thinks this is about Jim, but it's not. It's about power. And once we have it, she'll thank me for the push. Those words flipped the script. Fans who had been blaming CHRISSY suddenly started defending her. She got played, one user tweeted. They made her think she was the boss when, really, she was the bait. Others were less sympathetic, calling her naive or weak for not seeing it coming. But the conversation had shifted. CHRISSY was no longer the villain, she was the victim. And then, the final clue dropped. A leaked email thread between Tasha and a streaming producer allegedly pitching a new show concept based on female empowerment and surviving betrayal. The proposed title, The Pact, the timing. It was sent 2 months before CHRISSY and Jim's breakup went public. Fans were livid. Was this whole saga a setup for a show? Was CHRISSY's paying just pre-production? And if so, how much did she really know? How deep did the betrayal go? And just when it felt like the internet couldn't handle one more twist, CHRISSY reappeared. Not on live, not in a story, but in a pre-recorded interview, shot in soft lighting, her voice calm but heavy. "I thought I was reclaiming my story," she said. "Turns out I was just the plot." That one line broke everyone's hearts. The comments flooded in tears. Apologies, fans who once dragged her now offered support. And in the background of it all, Tasha stayed silent. No denial, no statement. Nothing but silence speaks volumes. And as the dust started to settle from CHRISSY's haunting interview, another piece of the puzzle emerged. One that would not only reignite the fire, but reveal something even more shocking about who had really been pulling the strings. All along the internet had barely caught its breath after CHRISSY's chilling words. "I thought I was reclaiming my story. Turns out I was just the plot." When the next leak dropped, and this time it wasn't just speculation. It was a screen recording of a Zoom meeting. Grainy, with poor audio quality, but crystal clear in its implications. Tasha was on the call, so was an unnamed producer from a mid-tier streaming platform. And in the center square, muted and half-lit, was someone no one expected to see. Yandy Smith. Fans lost their minds for weeks. Yandy had played the role of misunderstood advisor, the one who helped CHRISSY find herself again. She'd gone live, given soft interviews, and even appeared to defend CHRISSY during the earlier backlash. This clip hinted at something much deeper. A potential alliance that went far beyond healing and far closer to control. In the video, Tasha can be heard saying, "The key is making CHRISSY feel like she's leading the charge. If she believes it's her redemption arc, she'll fight to the end." The producer nods. Then Yandy, though muted, appears to smile slightly and write something down. And that was all it took. Social media exploded. Thousands of posts accused Yandi of gaslighting CHRISSY into the pact, manipulating her with emotional support while secretly packaging the drama into a saleable pitch. One TikTok user captioned their viral post, "When your enemy helps you heal just to sell your downfall." It got over 1.2 million views in a day. Even CHRISSY's closest supporters started to turn suspicious. One friend tweeted, "She never needed guidance, she needed truth." And they fed her lies wrapped in encouragement. Meanwhile, Jim Jones, who had remained uncharacteristically quiet since CHRISSY's Talah, finally broke his silence. Not in an interview, not in a post, but through a song snippet he previewed on his story. The lyrics were brief but scathing. They smiled in her face, played chess with her heart. "Now I'm watching the Queen fall apart." Fans were stunned. Was Jim confirming the setup? Was he finally admitting CHRISSY had been misled? Or worse, was he saying he had seen it all along and just stayed quiet? Then Mama Jones entered the chat again, this time more furious than before. During a heated Instagram live, she went off on both Yandi and Tasha. "They used my baby like a storyline," she shouted. "CHRISSY ain't no angel, but she ain't no fool neither. Y'all broke her down and made her think she was rising up." In one particularly emotional moment, she added, "They call it a pact. I call it a trap. And my son got caught in the middle." Within hours, #FreeCHRISSY started trending. It was a bizarre twist. The same woman once accused of betrayal was now being painted as a pawn in a much larger scheme. But the story didn't stop there. A journalist from an entertainment gossip site claimed they had been contacted anonymously by someone close to Yandi. In a long message thread, the source alleged that Yandi had been reluctant to join Tasha's plan at first, but ultimately agreed after being promised full creative control and a co-producer title. One message. "Read," she said, "if CHRISSY goes rogue, they'll paint her as unstable and spin it." Tasha told her that chaos sells, and she bought it. The backlash was immediate. Yandi's brand sponsorships were suddenly under fire. Fans started tagging companies demanding answers. "Do you support women being emotionally manipulated for profit?" One tweet read, In response, Yandi posted a cryptic quote to her story. "Sometimes silence is strength. Sometimes it's protection." It didn't land the way she hoped. Fans flooded her comments demanding clarity. "Is it true? Did you play her? You were supposed to uplift, not exploit." At the same time, an old episode of Love and Hip Hop resurfaced, one where CHRISSY confronts both Yandi and Tasha at a reunion taping. It had aired years ago and seemed like harmless reality TV drama back then. But now, fans watched it with new eyes. Every side glance, every half smile, every pause felt like foreshadowing. "This wasn't new," one fan wrote. "They've been circling her for years. This was the long game." And then came the podcast. A former assistant to Tasha appeared on an independent show and dropped yet another bombshell. According to her, Tasha had been journaling every conversation, every meeting, every emotional breakdown CHRISSY had shared with her over the years, compiling them not as a friend, but as content. "She told me, one day this will be a documentary. I'm just building the narrative." It was the most disturbing accusation yet. CHRISSY, who had still not publicly responded to the leaked Zoom clip or the assistant's claims, suddenly posted a black screen to her Instagram with just one sentence: "You never know who's collecting your pain." Fans were devastated. The woman who had been painted as manipulative was now being shown as the one manipulated. Her pact, her power play, her moment of reclaiming herself, all potentially part of a larger machine built on deception. But even in the face of all this, CHRISSY didn't lash out. She didn't name names. She didn't accuse. She just sat in the quiet, letting the pieces fall around her. And maybe that's what made the next twist hit even harder. A new video surfaced, leaked by an anonymous user who claimed to have worked in post-production for the proposed series The Pact. In it, Tasha is seen coaching CHRISSY before a confessional. "Remember," she says, "you're not the victim here. You're the phoenix. Burned, but rising. People love a comeback. CHRISSY nods in the clip, but her eyes, they look uncertain, unsure, like a woman torn between belief and doubt. And fans noticed. The narrative was no longer about drama. It had become a psychological maze. A story not of power, but of manipulation. A woman trying to reclaim herself, not knowing she was walking into a trap dressed as empowerment. And just when the world started turning on Tasha completely, she finally spoke. In a midnight video dimly lit, wearing no makeup and no filter. She said CHRISSY wasn't set up. CHRISSY wanted to win. It just showed her the board. And that one sentence, cold, unapologetic, and sharp, lit the internet on fire all over again. But was she telling the truth, or just trying to cover her tracks before the full story came to light? Because behind the scenes, another player was getting ready to step forward. Someone who had been quiet this whole time. Someone with receipts. Someone who knew things neither CHRISSY, Jim, Yandy, nor Tasha ever expected to see the light of day. The name dropped like a bomb in the middle of an already scorched battlefield. Mona. Yes, Mona Scott, the executive queen of reality TV. The woman behind the very show that birthed the CHRISSY and Yandy feud in the first place. While she had stayed eerily silent throughout the chaos, whispers had already begun that Mona Mitov had her hands in the mix all along. But now with Tasha under fire and Yandy's brand taking hits, Mona saw an opening, and she took it. In a leaked email thread allegedly between Mona and one of the show's production heads. There was mention of CHRISSY 3.0, a concept proposal centered on CHRISSY's so-called comeback. The subject line, weaponized redemption. Fans were stunned. Was this all a script? Had Mona been laying the groundwork for this betrayal narrative for months, maybe years? The first email read, "Let her believe she's rebuilding. A fall will hit harder when she realizes the scaffolding was ours." If that wasn't enough, the second email contained something even colder, a pitch deck attachment listing character arcs. CHRISSY section, the queen returns, but to what kingdom? Social media erupted. Conspiracy threads exploded. YouTube explicable videos broke it all down frame by frame. One creator even posted a 45-minute breakdown titled CHRISSY's Rise and Mona's Master Plan: How Reality TV Ate Its Queen. It quickly hit trending. Then something unexpected happened. CHRISSY unfollowed everyone. Jim, Yandy, Tasha, even Mona. Her entire following list was reduced to zero. Within minutes, she posted a story. A single white chess piece. The queen knocked on its side. No caption. The message was clear. Betrayal wasn't a subplot. It was the whole show. And it wasn't. Long before fans began digging deeper into the Mona connection. An anonymous editor for a now-defunct spin-off series dropped a thread that detailed how scenes were reshot. Audio clipped, and narratives built from selective silence. CHRISSY didn't get a redemption arc, the editor wrote. She got a revenge script she didn't even know she was starring in. But Mona, unlike Tasha, didn't sit back and wait for the fire to consume her. In a surprise guest appearance on a podcast known for holding no punches, she defended herself with swagger. If CHRISSY was set up, Mona said, smirking, then maybe she should have asked who was setting the table. It was brutal and calculated. She didn't deny the pitch deck, didn't deny the emails. Instead, she leaned into it. Reality TV is a mirror, she added. If you don't like what you see, maybe you should ask yourself why. The fans weren't buying it? Not anymore. This time, it wasn't just about clout. It was about someone's dignity being stripped for a storyline. CHRISSY, once the face of fearless romance and loyalty, had become a cautionary tale. And as much as people loved the drama, they couldn't ignore the humanity anymore. Jim Jones, still mostly silent, posted a black and white clip of himself walking through Harlem at night. No words, just jazz music. At one point, he passed a mural of a woman with her head held high, despite the cracks running through her silhouette. It was subtle, but powerful. Meanwhile, Yandi broke her silence again, this time in a quiet, somber video. No filters, no captions. Just her sitting by a window. "I never wanted to be part of anyone's downfall," she said. "I thought I was helping. I thought we were healing." Then, after a long pause, she added, "But maybe I ignored the signs because the storyline made us all feel important again." It was a confession wrapped in remorse. But it still didn't erase what fans were now calling the betrayal blueprint. And CHRISSY still said nothing until a week later, on a random Tuesday. She dropped a full 7-minute video, raw, unedited. Just her and a handheld camera. "I trusted the wrong people." She began, voice steady. "And maybe that's on me. Maybe I should have known better. But when you're tired of being invisible, you'll take any spotlight, even if it burns." The video was heartbreak in motion. CHRISSY admitted she had felt directionless, that the Pact gave her hope. That the people around her fed her dreams and whispered them back as blueprints. "I was never the author of this story," she said. "I was the ink." And then, for the first time, she addressed Jim directly. "You didn't deserve this. Not like this." But I couldn't hear myself in the noise anymore. The video ended without tears. Just CHRISSY turning off the camera. The internet was speechless. And that's when Mama Jones came back with one of the most surprising messages of all. In a video posted from her kitchen, she said, "I judged her too hard. I see that now." We all did. But maybe we were watching the wrong game. Maybe she wasn't playing. Maybe she was being played. It was a full circle moment. The woman who once warned Jim against CHRISSY now showed the most compassion. But then came the biggest twist yet. A former producer who had worked directly with Tasha and Mona released a document. It was a scheduling log. In it, there were notations for call times, set changes, and scripted beats. Scenes that hadn't happened yet, emotional confrontations that were planned. Fans were furious. They realized that even CHRISSY's breakdown had been forecasted, mapped out, maybe even pushed. And the worst part, CHRISSY hadn't known. The backlash was swift and brutal. #ProtectCHRISSY started trending worldwide. Blogs reversed their takes. Headlines flipped from "CHRISSY betrayed Jim" to "CHRISSY was the ultimate victim of the love and hip-hop machine." And at the center of it all, CHRISSY posted once more a single photo of a burned contract. Beneath it, the words, "No more scripts. No more silence." While the network promoted its explosive reunion episode like it was the Super Bowl of reality TV. CHRISSY had already moved on quietly, strategically, and with more control than anyone had given her credit for. Behind the scenes, she had linked up with a different production team. Not reality TV veterans, but documentary filmmakers, real storytellers, the kind who didn't just chase drama, they chased truth. It started with a hint. A blurred photo of CHRISSY on set posted by a cinematographer known for his work on independent docs. No hashtags, no location, no context. It's just the image of CHRISSY in a white button-down, seated on a stool, no makeup, raw. It was enough to get fans whispering, was this her version of the story? And if so, what was she about to reveal? Then, hours before the reunion was set to air, CHRISSY posted a single frame of black text on a white screen. They had their version. Now I'll tell mine. The caption was even simpler. Coming, it broke the internet. YouTube flooded with reactions. "CHRISSY's new doc is about to bury everyone," one host said. "I guarantee she's got footage we never saw. Maybe even receipts no one expected." And they were right. Because what CHRISSY had been collecting over the last few months wasn't just emotion. It was evidence.backstage audio clips. Discarded call sheets. Old interview footage that was never used because it didn't fit the show's arc. Voice memos from producers telling her what to cry about, what to say, when to pause for dramatic effect. "Give us the heartbreak," one voice said in a leaked clip. "Don't hold back. The audience needs to feel it." But it wasn't real. And CHRISSY was done performing as the reunion went live. Cameras focused on a perfectly staged set. Cast members walked in one by one, stylists adjusting their hair, producers whispering in earpieces. Yandi was noticeably absent. Mona was present, seated just off stage, her posture calm, her smile unreadable. And Jim, he never showed. The host, clearly briefed to stir the pot, opened the episode with a loaded question. So, is CHRISSY the villain or the victim? The answers that followed: predictable, dramatic, and in CHRISSY's eyes, manufactured. She played herself, one co-star said. Nah, she got played. Another replied, but back at home. CHRISSY wasn't watching. She was editing with her team in a small studio. She reviewed the final cut of what she was now calling Fractured, the CHRISSY Lampkin story. The doc wasn't flashy, didn't have booming music or rapid cuts. Tatter, talking, breaking, rebuilding, and exposing everything. The show made her look impulsive, angry, difficult. The documentary, it showed the pressure, the manipulation. The woman who spent years being loyal while the world waited for her to snap in one emotional scene. CHRISSY sat with an old notebook, the one where she had written vows years ago. Back when she thought marriage was right around the corner. I held on to hope so long, she said quietly. And when I finally let go, they called it betrayal. The internet was already in tears, because that wasn't the only raw moment in the film. She showed messages from Jim, not the public ones, the real ones, the late-night texts, the voice notes. One in particular left viewers gutted. I didn't know how to love you loud enough, Jim said in a shaky recording, and now I don't even know if you'll hear me. The team debated cutting it. CHRISSY said no. People need to know this wasn't just drama. It was love. Real love. We just lost the thread. When the documentary premiered on a private Vimeo link, accessible only via a direct post from CHRISSY's account. It drew over 2 million views in 24 hours. Fans called it devastating, raw, and everything we needed to hear. Even critics admitted it. CHRISSY had outplayed the network. Not with louder drama, but with truth. Meanwhile, the reunion episode trended for all the wrong reasons. Clips of cast members stumbling through vague answers, dodging real accountability, and laughing off serious moments painted the whole thing as out of touch. Viewers called it scripted, flat, and disconnected from the emotional weight of what had really gone down. And Mona. She stayed silent until she couldn't. A few days after CHRISSY's doc dropped, Mona released a statement. Carefully worded. Professional, but fans saw right through it. We at the network value the voices and experiences of all our cast members. It read, while creative direction is a necessary part of storytelling, we recognize the need for transparency and respect in all partnerships. CHRISSY reposted it. A caption. Just a series of laughing emojis. The battle was over and CHRISSY had won, but that didn't mean the pain disappeared. In a follow-up Q&A, CHRISSY said something that shook fans to their core. I'm not proud of everything I said or everything I did, but I'm proud I finally spoke for myself. No producer, no edit, just me. As the doc continued to gain momentum, rumors spread that major streaming platforms were now bidding for the rights. Netflix, Hulu, even Amazon. Everyone wanted a piece of CHRISSY's truth. And Jim, he watched it. We know because days later he posted a single photo, his hand on the same notebook CHRISSY used in the film. The caption, I heard you. Nothing more. The comment section exploded. Just talk to her already. This is breaking my heart. She deserves peace. But CHRISSY stayed quiet, not because she was avoiding him, but because, for the first time in a long time, she had said everything she needed to say. As the weeks passed, the noise began to die down. The hashtags faded. The reunion was forgotten. But CHRISSY's story stayed, replayed, rewatched, respected, and when asked in an interview what she would say to her past self, CHRISSY simply replied, trust your silence, but never let them write your story for you. And that right there was a final plot twist, because CHRISSY wasn't set up. She was underestimated. And there you have it. What started as a scandal rooted in rumors, betrayal, and a secret pact has transformed into something far deeper. A story about identity, silence, and reclaiming power. CHRISSY wasn't just a character in someone else's narrative. She was a woman rediscovering her voice, one painful truth at a time. And while Yandi's involvement set off the first explosion, it was the hidden hands behind the scenes, the silent influencers, the producers, the so-called friends that turned this drama into an emotional war. Fans were shocked. Families were divided. And now the internet has seen both sides. The glossy reunion filled with scripted chaos and CHRISSY's raw, unfiltered truth that cut deeper than any argument ever could. Love, loyalty, manipulation, every piece came to the surface. But one question still remains. Will CHRISSY and Jim ever find peace after everything that's been exposed? And what about Yandi? Was she really just helping, or was she always 10 steps ahead? Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think CHRISSY was truly set up? Or was she just outplaying everyone from the start? Was this pact about revenge or rebirth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading everything. And if this story had you hooked from start to finish, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more wild untold stories. And hit that bell icon so you never miss another twist. Because if you thought this was messy, trust us, the next chapter might be even more explosive. This is just the beginning.